Okay, here is my list of the movies I saw in 2019. Now, this is a sister post to the video I did on the books I read in 2019. But a lot of the same disclaimers apply to both. I've been very active on this channel the past year, but most of that activity has been making videos out of old reviews that I wrote years ago on my blog. The actual new movies I saw this year are very limited. I've actually only got 5 of them. Before I get into this, let me talk about a couple movies which I've decided not to include. Rosa Luxemburg, which is, as the title implies, a biopic of the German Marxist Rosa Luxemburg. I watched in January and I gave the full review treatment to, both on my blog and on this video channel. But I actually had seen that movie years ago back when I was in college. I didn't remember much of it, which is why I treated it as a new movie. But now that I'm doing my end-of-the-year movie wrap-ups, I'm thinking to myself, that doesn't really count as a new movie. I did see that one once years ago. So Rosa Luxemburg doesn't count. Also, The Godfather I did as part of my favorite movies of all time review list, but that one doesn't count. That's something I had seen years ago as well. So the new movies that I saw this year are 5 in number. 1, The Black Panthers, Vanguard of the Revolution. It's a documentary on the Black Panthers. I gave that one 9 stars. Shazam, I gave Shazam 7 stars. Isle of Dogs, I gave Isle of Dogs 7 stars. Avengers Endgame, 8 stars. And Spider-Man Far From Home, 7 stars. It's out of 10, by the way. 10 is my maximum. Now, these stars are all kind of off-the-cuff impressions. What I typically find when I go back at the end of the year is I think I was a little bit too generous on that one. I got a little bit caught up in the excitement of just coming out of the theater, and now that I've calmed down a little bit, maybe it wasn't quite so as good as I thought it was. That being said, I don't like to kind of mess around and rejig the ratings because, you know, once you open that can of worms, then you'll be doing it constantly. You know, one day I feel like it's 8 stars, and then the next day I feel like it's 7 stars, and then the third day I change my mind again. Yeah, you know, so I'm just going to let these ratings stand at the moment, which means the best movie I saw this year is Black Panther's Vanguard of the Revolution. Now, that's not a movie that came out this year. It's a documentary that came out about 5 years ago, but it was new to me. I saw it this year. As always, these are my own subjective tastes. I'm a history nerd and I'm a documentary nerd. So history documentaries tend to rate high on my list. If you're not into history documentaries, you can ignore my ratings, but if you do like history and if you like documentaries, I recommend this one. I think you'll find it very interesting. I normally do a worst movie of the year. Normally, I guess this is my first time doing this in video form, but I've been doing this on the blogs for a number of years. But this particular year, I've only got... Yeah, I don't have any single movie I rated less than 7 stars. And even my lowest rating of 7 stars, I've got 3 movies tied for the lowest rating. So I'm not going to do a worst movie of the year. Okay, as a quick addendum, I'm going to talk about the TV shows I saw this year. Now, I didn't see a lot of movies or TV shows this year, and the big reason is the baby. That's my excuse for everything, the new baby in the house. But I did make time to see the final season of Game of Thrones. And I did do, actually, episode-by-episode reviews of the final season as it came out, or as I got around to watching it, in which I was fairly generous. Now, speaking of my feelings changing over time, I've decided, as the months have gone by, that I was too generous to season 8. And this is mainly on the influence of reading everyone else's critique about it. And watching all those YouTube videos that have come out critiquing it. And you know as well as I do, there have been 1,000,001 videos that have come out critiquing Game of Thrones. My personal favorite is Lindsay Ellis. She did 2 parts on this. Both are long, but worth watching. Actually, worth watching is a high bar, isn't it? Both are long, but they're very entertaining. I'll give it that recommendation. And so kind of after seeing her videos and everyone else's videos, I've been converted to their opinion. I've been like, okay, fair enough. I was too generous. I mean, I never gave it a entirely positive review, but I gave it a mixed review. I was largely forgiving in my initial reviews of Season 8 of Game of Thrones, but I've been convinced that I was too forgiving. Okay, so that's it.